Death on the Nile is a feast for the eyes and perhaps the brain. What's up? It's Tech and this is GVN. Let's rock. Hey, what's up? Welcome to the channel. This is GVN, where we review movies, series, comics, animations, and video games. And it's all about Death on the Nile in this episode. So first and foremost, this feels like a remake because it was initially released in the 70s, way back. It started the year January 1st, 1978, and it was well received by people back then. And well, this one was released last month, February, and I'll say the premise, first and foremost, is a classic case of whodunit. It's a murder mystery story, and personally, I like stories like this. I mean, I pretty much like almost every genre of movies, right? But this one is nice because it's one where if the story is told well, it keeps you guessing. Now, with any great murder mystery story, there is a detective who, whether he's world-renowned or is just starting out in their field, but you know that this person is the person through whose eyes we are seeing the story, because it's the person that is putting together all the pieces. And in this case, it's Hercule Poirot. That's how he pronounces his name, like Hercule Poirot.
I am Hercule Poirot.
And if you notice one thing about all these murder mystery people, like all these detectives, they tend to introduce themselves, first name, last name, and also sometimes they might even find themselves referring to themselves in third person. And many people around them will find it sort of narcissistic, and yes, it comes off as that. He has that kind of vibe also. And I mean, this movie has an all-star cast. I mean, Kenneth that plays the Hercule Poirot character also happens to be the director. But then we've got Gadot, Sia Wright, Ami Ama. We've got a couple of other heavy hitters in this movie, and it's one that it plays on the different strengths of all the different members of the cast, and I really like that. If we are talking about the movie as a three-act structure, starting from the beginning, you've got the intro scene that gives us a sort of backstory of whom the character Hercule Poirot is. And yeah, even though it's not in English, I like the fact that it had a lot of subtitles. More on that later on in this review, but I like the fact that it's got the subtitles, and you know, you can follow along with the story, and it's a nice origin story for the character. And now, when it now comes to the rest of the story, see, I like the way it's being presented to us. It's flamboyant, you know, the colors, the settings. You could tell that, I mean, since I do a lot of editing and some grading too, you could tell that the tone they were going for was more of the golden tone. From even the art direction on set, you could tell that this is the color of choice for them, and that was even before they got to the Nile, you know, before they got to Egypt. And one thing that they did that was very deliberate is the way characters were introduced into different scenes, the camera movements. These were things that I just saw in this movie, and I was like, yes, I like this. It's quite immersive with the characters, and you know, when they tell you that this is a story of love and they are portraying it and all that, I like the way the story itself was being introduced to all of us with all the different characters that were coming on board. So that was one thing that got me going, you know, for the movie, because it was a case where you now find out, like when you get to say the end of the movie, you now find out that no scene in this movie was just a sort of coincidence or was unneeded. Every scene had a role to play, and I really like that about this entire movie. Now, when you move on and then you see all the different characters, you know, I mentioned them earlier, the way they were introduced. One thing that I really liked is the dynamic between the characters. Yes, like I said earlier, this is a whodunit story. This is a murder mystery, right? So there is a murder, we need to find out who killed who. And you know, in between, the way murder mysteries go sometimes, in between, while you're trying to find out the real reason why we're all here, the first murder, there could be one or two other murders in the story. And not to give away any spoilers, but it's the sort of stuff that you tend to expect in this kind of movies, and something like that happened in this one. And I really liked the way, yes, we have the overarching story, but then different characters also had their stories. You know, it's interesting, and the way these different character stories now come into play in the main story, the overarching story. I really like that about the movie. One thing I would say also about the character portrayed by Kenneth is that's the Hercule Poirot character portrayed by Kenneth. I like the fact that he's quite eccentric. So he's a detective, right? But you know, for people to get to that level in their career as this kind of top world-renowned detective, there are certain things that you would not see in the regular people that these people just tend to embody. And you would find stuff like that in him. Like, for example, there was this scene where he was like, yeah, he treats everybody like a suspect, and he was like, yeah, it's a problem, I admit.
You accuse me now of murder.
Oh no, he accuses everyone of murder.
It is a problem, I admit.
I think it was funny because he knows this, but he's sort of like making a sarcastic remark about himself, you know. So it was something that I really did like about the character. Overall, this movie is one that I would say you guys will watch if you are into the murder mystery vibe, or you just like a good story in general. I think you'll watch it and you would appreciate it. Now, if you are into fast cars and bombastic action and all that, it doesn't have any of that. No. So this movie is probably not for you. But then if you are into character-driven stories and you know you like the murder mystery vibe, I mean, personally, I would say I could sort of tell the end already from the beginning. So I liked, maybe it was just because there's a certain thing to expect when a certain story is presented to you. So I knew what to expect in a way, but I still liked the way the story was told up until the very end. So I was there for the journey, and then when the reveal came, I was like, aha, so I was right after all. So yes, that part was nice, but it will keep you guessing. That much I'll tell you, it will keep you on your toes. The fact that I was able to guess from the beginning, chances are I could have been wrong. Funny enough, I was actually sort of wishing I was wrong, but then in my head I was like, if I am wrong, then how would they explain the person that might be the killer? Then at the end of the day, you know, it was just a lot of what if, maybe, if this, if that, and that is what a good murder mystery story should be. And I think they delivered with this one. Kenneth, the team, they delivered with this one. It was out in cinemas in February, like I said earlier, but right now it's out on streaming. You can find it on HBO Max, on Hulu, on Disney Plus. So hey, knock yourselves out. And when it comes to performances of the different characters, now one that I will say I'm mentioning now because I know she's been giving some shade in the past about the character. I mean, about the characters that she portrays. Say what you might, but I think Gal Gadot did well in this movie. She did really well. I liked the way she played her character. And it was different from her as Wonder Woman, where she said, Carl, stop! No, it was not anything like that. I think she did well in this one, and that goes for all the other people that came on board. Russell Brand, Emma Mackey, Sophie Okonedo, and the list goes on and on. I think every single one of them brought something to the table, one that I truly admire, and it's one that I would recommend for you guys to watch. And also, talking about the way it was shot, there was this particular scene where it went on for, I don't know, maybe about almost 2 minutes or so, where it was a single take with different things happening over and over. Like, so it was one thing after the other, and it was a single take. So, you know, it was like they shoot like this, you know, they move to the next scene, and they move to this, and they go back to where it all started and all of that. And this is something that I could tell, because, you know, I'm into filmmaking and all that. Like, I'm a filmmaker, so I could tell about what they did. I could tell that this was a single take and all that. But one thing I can tell you for a fact, even if you don't notice, is one of the things that I just think Kenneth, the director, employed that helped the immersion of this scene. And that goes, like, hats off to the entire crew for being able to pull that off. I think this was a well-made movie. I think it was a well-told story, from the costumes to the sets to every single thing. I mean, it was truly shot on the Nile. So I went to check out the BTS to see whether there was some green screen here and there, but it turns out that the entire ship was built. The entire set was created. Nothing was done just for the sake of doing it. It was actually there, created for the sake of this movie, and that's something that I really did appreciate about this movie. Overall, That On The Nile was a good watch. It was a fun watch. It's one that I would definitely recommend to you guys. It gets a 9/10 from us here at GVN. Now, if you like this movie, or you did not like this movie, or you have thoughts, whatever it is about the movie, feel free to sound out in the comment section down below. I would love to hear from you guys. We love to interact, and don't forget to check us out, especially on Instagram too. We tend to post a lot of trailers and lots of fun facts too, also on GVN. Oh yeah, and before I go, one last thing I'd like to mention is, well, it was the Oscars some days ago, and there are a couple of movies that were nominated and won, either Best Picture, Best VFX. You know, we've got movies like Dune, Coda, West Side Story, No Time to Die. And I know during the time we had our break, some of these movies were released, but we don't get to review them. So I am going to be reviewing a couple of them in the coming days. So that is something to look forward to. Also, fun thing, if there is any movie or series or animation or stuff that you'd like us to review on the channel, feel free to drop something in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to watch it to give you a heads up whether it's worth your time or not. So let us know down in the comment section below. Feel free to check out this video or this video next to see some of our other dope reviews on the channel. And have a good one. It's been Tech for GVN. Peace.